guys, how's it going? It's Zahait here, and we're back with a brand new episode of The Farmer Was Replaced. And in the last episode, we started doing some maize farming and getting a bunch of gold, and then I just kind of AFK'd for a bit and let this thing kind of do what it wanted. So you can see here, we're up to 3 million hay, 8 million wood, 1 million carrots, 3.6 million treasure, and then I bought a bunch more water bucket things. So we got almost 5,000 water, 1 million potatoes, pumpkins rather, and then fertilizer. And for some reason I have 1 pumpkin seed. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but let me show you. Needs to be unlocked before it can be used. What does that mean? Was there an update? Is the game broken? What happened? Huh? What the heck does that mean? What if I make a new one? Okay, can I just... What if I don't put the define part in there? Oh! Do we not need the define anymore? That's not the best, because that means every single one of my codes is going to be broken. I think. I should probably... Yeah, see, they're literally all broken now. Why would they do that? Why would they go ahead and make an update that breaks every single thing that you've done in the game? So if I get rid of the define... was never defined. So I can't get rid of the define. Define plant. What did I do? Everything's busted. Okay, so there was this functions unlocked thing in here that I apparently kind of skipped over. I guess the update added this. I don't know exactly what happened, but once I unlocked it, it looks like the define function actually works now. Use the define keyword to define a new function. Okay, so now we've unlocked the define. And I think that means it's going to work. Now, the only problem is, it looks like my wood code has completely disappeared. I think it's the only one that's disappeared. And I'm not sure why. But it's disappeared. So let me see if I can copy and paste what I had done before. Unfortunately, there's not multiple saves. So I don't know what exactly is going to happen there. I'm going to have to try and dig up my old code and see if I can copy that in there. Okay, there we go. We fixed it, I think. That looks good to me. So a couple things that I have changed since the last time we hung out. Let me change this to something more reasonable again. I don't even know what this is set at. 10 million? Let's set this to 1 million just so you can see what happens. And I should change the pumpkins to 2 million because I have revised my pumpkin code. Why is it planting grass right now? Numb grass. 1 million. Why is it doing that? There we go. Okay, I had my enter button was down there. All my zeros were down. Okay, anyway, disregard, disregard, disregard. So, let me show you what we're working on here. You might notice I'm making one big massive pumpkin now. And maybe it'll be easier to run through this without the noise. Let's just pause this for a quick second. So I'm just setting a variable pump equal to true. My dimension number I'm setting equal to 0. Location I'm setting to 0. Count I'm setting to 0. Then, while pump is true, it means I'm farming pumpkins. And I just set my location equal to get position Y. So wherever I am, I'm setting that to be my location variable. Then if that location variable is greater than the dim, which as long as it's greater than 0, it's going to copy. So then every time it does this, it's going to copy the new dimension to location, the new location to the dimension, rather. And that way, no matter how big my farm gets, I'll always be able to track how big it is. So every time I move, I come in here, I check my position. If that new position is bigger than some variable that I've stored, then I restore the dimension. And that's how I'm finding out how big this area is. Then I check the ground type. If it's a turf, I till it. Then after I've checked it and tilled, I check if I have pumpkin seeds. If I don't, if my pumpkin seeds is equal to 0, then I trade for pumpkin seeds. Then I check if the entity type that I'm over is nothing, because if it's nothing, I need to trade for pumpkin seeds and then plant pumpkins. And then if I've planted a pumpkin because I found a tile basically that had no pumpkin, I reset my count equal to 0. So every time I find a tile that doesn't have a pumpkin on it, I plant a pumpkin and reset the count equal to 0. Then, after all of that, if I go and I find a pumpkin, if I find a entity under me that's not a pumpkin, so right away I'm going to move up here, I'm going to find an entity that is not a pumpkin. I'm going to check if I can harvest it. If I can, I'm going to harvest it. So I'm going to go up there, I'm going to get rid of the wheat. Then I'm going to check for pumpkin seeds, trade if I need to, and plant a pumpkin, reset my count equal to 0. All that's happening every single turn. Then I move. My count goes to whatever the count was, plus 1. And then as soon as my count is equal to the dimension which I've stored, plus 1, because we start at 0. 0 times 0 would actually give me 0, but I need it to be 1 times 1. So as soon as the count gets bigger than the dimension plus 1 squared, I harvest the whole pumpkin. So let's just see what that looks like. I can continue playing this again. So we're checking every single square. I don't know if I can keep track of the count number. Yeah, see, it's changing over time. We're just checking every single spot. I gotta make sure that every single tile ends up with a pumpkin on it at one point. There's only this one left. Now, by the time we get back to here, we'll know we've covered the entire grid with pumpkins. And he'll harvest it. There we go. Now he's planting... I guess he's planting carrots now because we don't have 1,000,000 carrots anymore. But that's great. So now, that's that. Let me just pause this really quickly. And where's my plant code? So there goes the pumpkin one. The plant one, we can set this back to 1,000,000. Just for fun. Whoop. There we go. Okay. So there is that. We are planting. All of our stuff is in here. And now we're planting pumpkins again. Okay, so there's that. Let's see what else we can unlock here. I can unlock sunflowers. I can unlock multi-trade. I don't know what this is. Let's take a look. Buying items one by one takes a lot of time. You can now specify the number of items you wish to trade in a second argument. For example, if you wish to buy 5 carrot seeds, you write trade 5. Okay, so we could do that right now. We could just do trade 1,000. And then I can get rid of this part. And I should also be able to do... I'm going to let this pumpkin finish harvesting. And then I can change the one in the pumpkin. Let's let that do its thing. Okay, so I can change this one. We're just trading for 1, so it's actually fine. I think that's the only one... Oh, the fertilizer. Which one has the fertilizer in it? I forget. Oh, it's the maize function, right? No? Is it not this one? It should be. Use item fertilizer. Oh, here we go. For iron range. Get rid of that. And we'll set this equal to 100. There. That should fix it. I hope. We'll let that continue to do its thing. And wait, why is it even farming pumpkins right now? We should have 1,000,000 pumpkins. Why are we farming pumpkins right now? Oh, I think I have... Do I have too many zeros in here? Oh, I have too many zeros in here. Okay, we'll set that to be 1,000,000. There we go. There, that's better. I had too many. We were set to 10,000,000 pumpkins. Okay, so there we go. Now we're doing the maize farming. All that is working out perfectly. Man, there's so many bugs after an update. Who would have thought? Okay, so perfect. Now we can start unlocking some sunflowers. Sunflowers collect the power of the sun. You can harvest that power. Planting them works exactly the same as planting carrots, except you need to buy sunflower seeds instead of carrot seeds. However, when you harvest a sunflower, the power of all sunflowers on the farm flows together into the harvested plant. So harvesting a sunflower yields power equal to the square root of the number of sunflowers on the farm. Only one of the sunflowers with the most petals can handle that. If you harvest a sunflower that doesn't have the most petals of all the sunflowers on the farm, the power will destroy all sunflowers on the farm. Oh my god. Measure returns the number of petals of the sunflower under the drone. Several sunflowers can have the same number of petals, so there can also be several sunflowers with the largest number of petals. In that case, it doesn't matter which one of them you harvest, as long as you have power, the drone will use it to go twice as fast. It consumes 1 power every 30 actions. Like move, harvest, plant. Executing other code statements can also use power, but a lot less than drone actions. Okay, so we're gonna need a new code, or a new piece of code called power. Let's let this guy finish getting that. There we go. And plant, we can open this up. Num pump. Should we set num money? Num money. We'll set that to be 1,000,000 as well. If we'll set this to be num underscore items dot gold less than num money. Then we're going to do the maze, and then other than that we are going to sunflower. Now we need to make a new code called sunflower. And I think define sunflower. I think what we want to do is copy the pumpkin code, or a lot of it. Because we're basically doing the same thing. I think. Let's see if we can clean this up. We don't need that. And then instead of pump, we'll do flower. Flower equals true. None of this matters. Dim location count. I think we want to do that still. Because if count is greater than dim squared, it means we've covered every single tile. And then I just gotta make a different variable in here we'll call can harvest, which is separate from can underscore harvest. Can harvest equals false. And then what do I want to do? At the very end, once count is greater than dim plus 1 times dim plus 1, I don't want to harvest yet, but I do want to check, or I do want to set can harvest equal to true. Okay, then once it's true, we should be able to farm it. We just have to check if we're doing the right thing. We also have to make sure we're doing sunflower seeds here. And sunflower seeds, And sunflower seeds. Oh my god, there's so many spots to change. Plant. Sunflower. Entities dot sunflower. Wow. There's gotta be a better way to do this. Sunflower seed. Oh, I'm doing seed. I gotta get rid of the second seed. Seed. Let's just copy this part and paste it there. Entities dot sunflower. Okay, let's see what we're doing. If the number of sunflower seeds equals 0, trade. Good. If entity underscore... Wait a minute. Do I need this here? I don't think I need this here. In either of them. Because we're trading inside these other parts. I'll leave it for now. Whatever. We'll have one extra seed. I'll leave it. Let's see if I can get this thing to work first, and then we'll figure that other part out. So number of items, get entity type. If it's nothing, we want to trade for sunflower seed and plant a sunflower. Set count equal to 0. Perfect. If it's not a sunflower and I can harvest it, I want to harvest it. And then plant a sunflower seed. Okay, set count equal to 0. Good. And then I think what I want to do after all of that, if count is greater than that, can harvest equals true. Do I even need to do this? Somewhere in here, I have to do the measure command as well. And we'll just go max petals equals 0. And then I can put that down in here. Elif get entity type equals entities dot sunflower. We want to what's that command again? We want to measure. Measure can measure values on some entities. I don't know if I have to like measure petals or something. Measure dot. Maybe it is just measure. And we can set this to... Actually, no, we'll go if measure is greater than max petals. Measure max petals equals measure. Ay, this is getting kind of gross. Max petals equals measure. And then we'll also check if can harvest. Can I do and measure is equal to max petals harvest. I think we don't want to harvest there. Okay. I don't know. We can try it and see what happens. Darn it, I forgot to get rid of this. Well, flower. Do I want to do this? Well, flower, do all of that? I guess so. And then we can turn this to false? I don't know if I have to even change it to false. Oh no, I do. I do. After we harvest, we can do it right here. Flour equals false. Hopefully that works. Okay, we're making sunflowers. I don't know if we're counting petals or not. We're setting count equal to 0 every time, which is good. Once we've done that, then we gotta count the number of petals, which hopefully it starts to do here soon. Okay, hopefully it's counting them. It looks like it worked. It's not that great though, is it? We run out of power so fast. Why are we only getting 20 power? Hold on. Pause for a second. Obtained for harvesting sunflower. The drone uses this automatically to move twice as fast. Why are we only getting 20? So I think what's happening is when I harvest, it's not supposed to be harvesting all of the sunflowers. And what might be happening is it's harvesting the one that it can, and then it's immediately harvesting the next one, maybe? I don't know what's happening. Okay, so we got all the sunflowers are planted. We're checking if measure... Does it tell me? I don't think it's going to tell me. If measure is greater than max petal, which it's not apparently, then we're going to move. So it's going to move. What is my max petal right now? Max petal is set to 14. If count is greater than that, what's can harvest is set to false. Okay, so right now I think what's happening is I'm going till I find a flower that I can harvest. And then I'm harvesting it. But the problem is, as soon as I harvest it, I'm setting flower equal to false, which cancels me out of this while loop. And then I get put right back into some random thing, which isn't really random because I made a program. But as soon as it's like that, then I start harvesting everything. And I don't want to harvest everything. I don't think I want to harvest everything. So maybe I get rid of this. When do I turn this to false then? That's the question. You know what I should do? I should scrap this whole thing. And hear me out. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a list that stores every single variable in here. Oh, but can I don't know if I can sort lists. That would be great if I could sort lists from highest to lowest. You can create a new list like this, create a new list. You can iterate through a list using a for loop. Well, example sums up all elements in the list. That sums them all up. Okay, I can append stuff. That's what I want to do. And I can remove stuff. Okay. I don't know if there's a way to sort it. I might have to come up with some funky thing to make my own way to sort it. Oh boy, let's see what I can do. Let me see what I can do here. Okay, so here's my new attempt at it. I've made a sunflower one with capital S, capital F, just to get things rolling. So flower equals true, petals. I made a new list here called petals. And then dim equals 0. Well, flower. Okay. Then I get position Y. If it's greater than dim, I store it in dim. Then I get the ground type. If it is equal to turf, I till it. And then if get entity type equals none, or get entity type is not equal to sunflower, I check if I can harvest it. If I can, I harvest it. And then I shouldn't have this else here. Then after that, if my number of sunflower seeds is equal to 0, I trade for sunflower seeds, I plant a sunflower, and then I set count equal to 0. I want to, in this same line, check the number of petals. I'm just not sure if I can do that at the same time as I plant. Like, can I plant and then measure at the same time? Hold up. Let me just really quickly. This is my make-believe thing. Let's just do that. It's gonna kill everything. What? Why isn't it working? Do I have to just delete that? There we go. It's gonna kill everything. So what I want to do is plant sunflower, plant entities dot sunflower, and then right after that I want to print measure. And I just want to see what that does. Measure, print measure. Too much indentation? What? The indentation has to be the same for all statements within a code. What? 9. Okay, so I can do it right away. Let's try this again. Harvest. -1. Huh? Plant, entities, sunflower. Oh, I need to trade first. Okay, hold up. Okay, let's try this now. Trade, plant, 10. Harvest, good. 9. 10. 9. 14. Okay, so it works immediately. So that's good news, because then what I can do is put the measure of wherever I am before I move. I can put that into the list. Now I gotta figure out where to put it in the list. And that's gonna get a little bit weird. I guess the first thing I have to do is see if the length exists. List. Where's the length button? List sum. List dot append. Remove. I thought there was a one that said length. Okay. Let's try this. If len of petals equals 0 equals 0, then we want to just append where we are into it. So then we'll go list dot, not list. Is it list? No. Petals dot append, and then we'll say, what's it called? Measure. Okay, so that's gonna take, if the length is equal to 0, it's going to take the measure and shove it in the list. Perfect. If the list is not equal to 0, then we have to figure out where to put it. So we're gonna have to go for I in petals, I think. And then we check at each spot if petals at I is less than or equal to No, we don't want... Do we want less than or equal to? Let's just say if petals... I think I need this to be square brackets, don't I? If petals at I is greater than 0, then we want to petals dot insert I at location I measure. I don't know about that. Yeah, because this is going to insert like 100 times. We only want to do it once. Can I make a break? Is there like a break command? Break. Okay, for I don't know if that's actually going to work or not, but if it does, then that's really good. Okay, guys, this took me way too long, but I think it works. So I don't need this. Anyway, I commented this out so that I could just run this without having to actually call it from somewhere. So don't mind that. But what I'm doing is setting planting equal to true. As soon as I call this, planting is equal to true. I make a new list called petals. And I just set arbitrary dimension equal to 5. My dimensions are always going to be bigger than 5, but I just set 5 just as a baseline to make sure that the rest of my code works. We'll get there in a second. So while planting is equal to true, which it starts out at, I get my position Y value. If it's bigger than my dimension, which I've set to 5, I override it. So half the time when I start, it'll be bigger, half the time it won't be, but it'll override it regardless, so it doesn't matter. Then I check if it's tilled. If it's not, I till it. Then I check the entity type. So if I'm hovering over nothing or something that's not a sunflower, I check if I can harvest it. If I can harvest it, I harvest it. Which I don't know if I necessarily need to do. I might just get rid of this part altogether and just straight up start planting. But anyway, then we check if the number of sunflower seeds is greater than 0, basically. If it is, or if it isn't, we get some new sunflowers and then we plant sunflowers. Then, right after I've planted, I check the length of my petal list, which it starts out as 0. So if it is 0, all I do is append the number of petals to my list. So if it starts at 0, I just take the number of petals and I stick it in my list. Done. If for some reason I have something in there already, so the second time I go, I'll already have something in my list. So here I'm checking for every value in the range. You need a range here so that it knows it's a sequence of numbers. As you can see here, returns a sequence of numbers from 0 to n-1. So in the range of the length of the petal list, so the length of the petal list, this just means a number basically. Then I check each and every one. So at petal position number starts at 0. If it's less than or equal to measure the number of petals on the tile I'm on, I take petals and I insert at position 0 the number of petals on the tile, and I break this for loop so that I don't continue doing it and adding it in a million times, because that would be bad. If I've run this all the way through, and I is equal to the number of petals, and I still haven't found one that is less than or equal to the number of petals, then I just take the petal number and I append it at the end. So if every number in my list has been greater than or equal to the number that I'm currently hovering on, I just stick the number at the very end of the list. So, I mean, this is starting to get complicated, and I hope I'm kind of explaining it okay, but, I mean, is the best I can do. Then, once we've done all that, if the length of petals is greater than the dimension squared, which means if I have counted a number of petals on flowers equal to the number of tiles squared, which means 1 for every single one of these grids, then I set planting equal to false, and I am no longer planting anymore. Doesn't matter, we're not planting anymore. So now that planting is over, all of this is happening for the planting part. Once that's over, I start a new while loop, and while my length of petals is greater than 0, I get the entity type. If it equals sunflowers, then if I can harvest and the petals at the location 0, which is always the way I set this up, petals at index 0 is going to be my biggest number no matter what, just the way I set this part up here. If the petals at position 0 equals my measured value, then I'm allowed to harvest it. And then this part just deletes that part of my list. So petals.pop takes the index 0 in my list petals and just pops it, and it's gone. So it deletes that, and I continue to do that until all of the flowers are gone from my list. Once all of the flowers are gone, this is not true anymore, which basically means my sunflower command is done. Boop. All gone. So we go back and we start doing our main loop all over again. So let's just run this. It should work. I've tried it once. It seems like it works. It starts to slow down the more it goes because this for loop starts getting longer and longer and longer. Like you can see how many items are in there. It starts to get pretty long, but look, they're all in sequential order. So now it's running around and it's looking for all the ones that have 15. Okay, there's one left there. Got it. So now it's going to be looking for all the ones that have 14. It's getting all of those. Then it's looking for the 13s, the 12s, and it's just going to keep going doing that until it has gathered every single flower from the entire list. And once it's done, it should just stop because I have not actually called this anywhere. So I'll have to see what happens with that. It should just stop. Perfect. So now if I come in here, I delete that. Now I have to go to my plant schedule and change this to be sunflower. And if I call this, or if I run this program, we're actually running the sunflower command right away, which is great. I don't know what the sunflower cost is. Sunflower seed. I don't even see sunflower seed. Trade item, carrot, fertilizer, pumpkin seed. Oh, sunflower seed. It just takes 1 carrot. Okay, so we're gonna start making a whole bunch of power, and I think what that allows me to do is more speed upgrades. 1,000 increases the speed even further. 1.2 thousand. 1.4 thousand. Wow, we can really get this thing ripping. Oh my gosh, this is just going crazy here. Unlock for 3,000. Increases the power gain from sunflowers. Yep, let's do that. We've got $3.6 million. So I may as well just farm all that up. What else can we do? Dictionaries. Get access to dictionaries. Polyculture. Use companion planting to increase the yield. Let's just read about this. I'm probably not going to make a code for this today because this took me way too long. I don't want to talk about it, but I figured it out. So let's see. Grass, bushes, trees, and carrots yield 10 times more when they have the right plant companion. The companion reference is different for every individual plant and cannot be predicted. Fortunately, the companion preference of the plant under the drone can be measured using Get Companion. It returns a list of those elements in the plant type it would like as a companion, and the second and third elements are the X and Y coordinates of the position where it would like its companion. Oh my gosh. For example, if you plant a bush and then call Get Companion, it will return something like entities.carrot35. This means that the bush would like to have carrots at position 3-5. So if you plant carrots at 3-5 and then harvest the bush, it will yield 10 times more wood. The growth stage of the carrot doesn't matter. The companion preference of the plant can be either entities.grass, entities.bush, entities.tree, or entities.carrot. Every plant chooses this randomly, but it will always choose a plant different from itself. The position can also be any position within 3 moves of the plant except the position of the plant itself. If there is no plant under the drone that has a companion preference, Get Companion will return an empty list. That sounds like way too much work. I mean, 10 times is a lot. But it's only for one plant. So I'm not sure that that is necessarily worth it. It's a lot of work to get 10 times from this one plant by planting something over here and then going back and getting it, when I could just plant 10 times the crops in that amount of time. Right? I don't know. Seems like way too much work, but I don't know. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Maybe it's something I could just set a true or false value to, like get companion, and if I have that set to true, then it will actually do that, and if I have it set to false, then it won't. I don't know. Something we could think about. I should be able to do a whole bunch of speed upgrades. This is going to be crazy. How fast is this thing going to go now? Oh my god, look at it go! It's so fast, you can hardly see it! What? Can I upgrade more power? 2.45 million power. Okay, that's not happening. Not right now, but look at it go! Oh, that feels good! So we're gonna have tons of power. Look at it go. That's amazing. Now, there probably is a way, when I store the variable, I could also store the X and Y positions of the crop, probably, and then rather than searching through the whole thing like how I'm doing, we're missing stuff. That's not good. I think we're going too fast. I'm starting to miss items. Oh, you know what? It's because they weren't ready to harvest yet. I knew that was gonna bite me in the butt. I knew it. Okay, so what we want to do then is if we're planting sunflowers, that's what we're planting. We're not doing anything else. If we're planting sunflowers, we are just planting sunflowers. I'm not checking this part. So we'll just get rid of that. And I'll replace it with just a straight up harvest. So if none, harvest. Okay. We should be able to do that now. Harvest, this name was never defined? It doesn't need to be defined. Oh, harvest. There we go. Okay, so if we hit something that can't be harvested, it will just harvest. Yep, it'll just kill it. So, that'll work for me. Anyway, guys, that took me like, well, between figuring out what broke with my update and unlocking this thing, functions, yeah, this part, and then making this stupid thing, that was like a 2-hour long video. So, I'm gonna wrap it up right there. In the next one, I guess we're gonna get into pumpkins, 512,000. I guess we're gonna get into dictionaries. And we've already done this. I don't know if I'm gonna play around with that. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. And then allows access to the cost of things. Yeah, I guess we can just start heading down this path and see where that takes us. But guys, we're gonna wrap it up right there. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And I will see you next time.